Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel Wisdom Pillars. What does it mean to encounter someone truly evil? In a world where we often overlook or misinterpret harmful behaviors, it's important to recognize the warning signs. In today's video, we're exploring 5 clear signs that you might be dealing with an evil person through the lens of Stoicism. The ancient Stoics believed that character and intent shape our actions, and by learning to identify these traits in others, we can protect ourselves and stay grounded in virtue. Let's dive into the wisdom of the Stoics and uncover the truths about recognizing evil. Lesson number 1. The mask of charm. In a world where appearance often plays a crucial role in shaping perceptions, the mask of charm delves into the intricate dynamics of how people present themselves to the world. Charm, in its many facets, can be a powerful tool for social success, yet it often acts as a metaphorical mask, hiding true intentions, insecurities, and vulnerabilities. The concept can be both empowering and deceptive, enabling individuals to influence, persuade, and navigate social hierarchies while sometimes obscuring their genuine selves. Throughout history, charm has been associated with charisma, allure, and even manipulation. The ability to appear likable and captivating has led to advancements in personal and professional relationships, but has also raised questions about authenticity and integrity. The Mask of Charm explores the duality of charm, how it can serve as a bridge to meaningful connections or as a disguise to mislead others. It examines how charm has been viewed across cultures, how it can be cultivated, and its ethical implications. This lesson breaks down the mask of charm into several key points, examining its components, strategies, psychological effects, and societal relevance. Definition of charm and its mask. Charm refers to the quality of being attractive, pleasing, or enchanting, often through personality or appearance. The mask of charm symbolizes the deliberate use of charm to create a facade or persona, one that may not align with the person's true nature. The mask can be used to manipulate social interactions, gain influence, or protect oneself from vulnerability. Historical context of charm. Throughout history, charm has been seen as a valuable trait in leaders, royalty, and influential individuals. In ancient times, charm was often linked to divine favor or charisma, viewed as a gift from the gods. Literary figures such as Cleopatra and Casanova exemplified charm as a tool for persuasion and influence. Charm as a social skill. Charm can be cultivated through skills like active listening, empathy, humor, and positive body language. It involves the ability to make others feel comfortable, valued, and understood. Developing charm often requires emotional intelligence and a deep understanding of social dynamics. Charm versus authenticity. While charm can facilitate connection, it may also mask true feelings and intentions, raising ethical questions about authenticity. The tension between being charming and being genuine creates dilemmas in personal and professional relationships. Some individuals use charm as a defense mechanism to avoid confronting insecurities or emotional wounds. The psychology behind charm. Charm works by appealing to psychological needs such as validation, admiration, and belonging. People are often drawn to charming individuals because they fulfill these needs, even if the charm is superficial. Neurobiology shows that charm can trigger the release of dopamine, creating a feeling of pleasure in social interactions. Cultural perceptions of charm. Different cultures have varied interpretations of charm. In some, charm is synonymous with politeness and sophistication, while in others, it may be linked to cunning or deceit. Western cultures often associate charm with individualism and personal success, whereas collectivist cultures may view it as a tool for social harmony. The role of charm in relationships. Charm plays a significant role in building romantic, platonic, and professional relationships. In romantic contexts, charm can accelerate emotional bonding, but the reliance on charm without deeper substance may lead to unsustainable relationships. In professional settings, charm can enhance leadership and team dynamics, but it can also be perceived as manipulative if overused. The ethics of charm. Ethical charm involves using one's appeal and likability for positive, constructive purposes without deceit or manipulation. Unethical charm may involve deception, coercion, or exploitation of others' emotions for personal gain. The ethical boundaries of charm depend on intent, transparency, and respect for others' autonomy. Charm in the digital age. The rise of social media and online interactions has reshaped how charm is expressed and perceived. Lesson number 2: absence of empathy. Empathy is often described as the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. It serves as a crucial element in human relationships, fostering understanding, cooperation, and compassion. When empathy is absent, however, it can lead to a wide range of negative outcomes, both for individuals and society as a whole. A world without empathy tends to be characterized by selfishness, indifference, and a lack of meaningful human connection. In this discussion, we will explore the causes, consequences, and manifestations of an absence of empathy in society, including the psychological, social, and moral dimensions of this issue. 1. Definition of empathy. Empathy refers to the capacity to understand and feel what another person is experiencing from their perspective. It includes both cognitive empathy, understanding another's thoughts and emotions, and emotional empathy, sharing in another's feelings. Signs of absence of empathy. Lack of emotional response to the suffering of others. Inability to put oneself in another's position. Indifference to the consequences of one's actions on others. Rationalizing or justifying harm caused to others. Causes of absence of empathy. Psychological factors. Disorders such as psychopathy, narcissistic personality disorder, and autism spectrum disorders are often associated with low levels of empathy. Personal trauma or abuse can sometimes cause individuals to become emotionally detached. Overexposure to violence or suffering through media can desensitize individuals. Social factors. Cultural emphasis on individualism and self-interest over community and cooperation. Social hierarchies and power dynamics where empathy is suppressed to maintain control or dominance. Group polarization, where loyalty to an in-group leads to lack of empathy toward out-groups. Technological factors. Excessive use of technology and social media may reduce face-to-face interactions and diminish emotional sensitivity. The rise of virtual environments can detach individuals from real-world consequences. Consequences of the absence of empathy. On individuals, people lacking empathy may struggle with forming meaningful relationships, increased feelings of loneliness, isolation, and alienation. Lack of emotional support from others, as empathy is often reciprocated. On society, social fragmentation, where groups become more isolated from one another. Increase in discrimination, prejudice, and intolerance, as lack of empathy leads to dehumanization of others. Breakdown in community cooperation and collective well-being, replaced by competition and self-interest. On global issues, environmental degradation, as individuals or corporations act without considering the impact of their actions on others or the planet. lack of global solidarity in addressing humanitarian crises, wars, and poverty. Increase in political polarization and conflict as empathy across ideological lines diminishes. Psychological implications of an empathy deficit. Lack of empathy can be associated with disorders like narcissism, where individuals focus primarily on their own needs and desires. Empathy deficit can lead to aggressive behaviors and a lack of remorse or guilt. People with low empathy may exhibit emotional detachment and have difficulty forming healthy emotional bonds. Compassion fatigue, often experienced by those in caregiving professions, may also result in empathy burnout. Cultural and societal manifestations. Empathy can be diminished in cultures that value competition, individual success, and self-reliance over community welfare. Consumerism and materialism can shift focus away from emotional and relational values, weakening empathy. In times of social stress, such as economic crises, empathy may decrease as individuals focus on survival and personal gain. The role of empathy in morality. Empathy often forms the foundation of moral behavior, as it compels individuals to care about the well-being of others. When empathy is absent, moral reasoning can become detached from human suffering, allowing people to rationalize harmful behaviors. Ethical frameworks that ignore empathy often lead to greater harm, as they fail to account for the emotional and human impacts of decisions. Impact on relationships. Absence of empathy can lead to dysfunctional relationships, where one partner may feel neglected or misunderstood. In families, lack of empathy can foster toxic environments, leading to emotional harm, neglect, or abuse. Friendships and social bonds weaken when empathy is not present, as mutual understanding and support are crucial for long-term connections. Empathy and conflict. Empathy plays a key role in conflict resolution by allowing individuals to see situations from different perspectives. The absence of empathy can fuel conflicts, making it harder to reach compromises or understand opposing viewpoints. Lesson number 3. Mastery of manipulation. Definition of manipulation. Manipulation involves influencing or controlling someone's thoughts, actions, or perceptions for personal gain, often without their awareness. It is often seen in personal relationships, politics, business, and even self-manipulation, rationalization, denial. Emotional manipulation. Playing on emotions like guilt, fear, or love to control someone. Psychological manipulation, using cognitive biases or logical fallacies to influence thinking. Social manipulation, influencing group dynamics, exploiting societal expectations, or leveraging authority. Purpose of manipulation. Historical overview of manipulation techniques. Ancient use of manipulation. The use of manipulation is not a modern phenomenon. It has been utilized throughout history by politicians, military leaders, and religious figures. Example: Machiavelli's The Prince, 16th century, emphasized the importance of manipulation in political leadership. Cultural impact. Different cultures have developed varied approaches to manipulation. For instance, Eastern philosophies like Sun Tzu's Art of War discuss strategic manipulation in warfare, while Western traditions explore manipulation in law and governance. Emotional manipulation. Tactics of emotional manipulation. Guilt tripping, making the victim feel responsible for the manipulator's well-being or problems. Gaslighting, making someone doubt their own reality or sanity to control their perceptions. Love bombing, overwhelming someone with affection to gain control, often seen in abusive relationships. Victimhood, presenting oneself as the victim to avoid blame or responsibility. Psychological mechanisms. Projection, Manipulators may project their own flaws or wrongdoings onto the target, leading the victim to question themselves. Mirroring, imitating someone's behavior or emotional responses to create a false sense of connection and trust. Anchoring, using initial information to skew someone's future perceptions. Psychological manipulation. Cognitive biases, exploited confirmation. Bias, manipulators feed people information that supports their pre-existing beliefs, making them more susceptible. The foot in the door technique, gaining compliance through a small initial request, then escalating demands. Reciprocity, exploiting people's sense of obligation to return favors. Common techniques. Framing, presenting information in a certain way to manipulate the interpretation of facts. False dichotomy, presenting only two options, one highly undesirable, to limit choices. Appeal to authority, using the authority or respectability of a figure to manipulate opinions, social and political manipulation. Media manipulation, manipulating public opinion through selective coverage, sensationalism, and misinformation. Techniques include controlling narratives through censorship, media bias, or paid advertising. Political propaganda, use of symbols, slogans, and emotional appeals to sway public opinion. Governments and politicians have long employed manipulation to retain power or rally support during elections or wars. Crowd psychology. Leaders or influencers manipulate group behavior, often through appeals to identity, fear, or solidarity. Examples: the rise of totalitarian regimes, mass movements, and cult behavior. The ethics of manipulation. Manipulation versus influence. Ethical influence respects autonomy, while manipulation disregards it. Debate on whether manipulation is inherently evil or whether context determines its morality, e.g., manipulation in parenting for a child's safety. Consequences of manipulation. Short-term versus long-term outcomes for both the manipulator and the manipulated. Ethical implications on trust, autonomy, and personal freedom. Moral dilemmas. Is manipulation ever justified? Is it acceptable in situations of survival, diplomacy, or persuasion for the greater good? Defenses against manipulation. Building emotional intelligence. Recognizing emotional manipulation requires high emotional awareness and control. Critical thinking skills. Being aware of logical fallacies and cognitive biases can protect against psychological manipulation. Strengthening personal boundaries. Setting clear boundaries helps to avoid being manipulated by guilt, fear, or social pressure. Education and awareness. Understanding manipulation tactics empowers individuals to resist or counteract them. Lesson number 4. The urge to control. The urge to control is a psychological and behavioral phenomenon rooted in the human need for predictability, security, and survival. Control can manifest in various aspects of life, ranging from personal relationships and decision-making processes to societal structures and natural environments. This urge is driven by both innate instincts and learned behaviors shaped by culture, upbringing, and personal experiences. While a desire for control is natural to some extent, excessive need for it can lead to anxiety, interpersonal conflict, and even societal harm. Psychological origins of the urge to control. Evolutionary instincts. Control ensures survival by managing threats and resources. Need for predictability. Control reduces uncertainty, which is often a source of stress and anxiety. Sense of agency. Control enhances the feeling of having power over one's life and decisions, contributing to self-esteem. Forms of control. Internal control refers to self-regulation, managing emotions, thoughts, and actions. External control involves managing or influencing people, events, or environments outside oneself. Social control, the ability to influence societal norms, behaviors, and systems of governance. Healthy versus unhealthy control. Healthy control enables personal growth, responsible decision-making, and boundaries in relationships. Unhealthy control leads to manipulation, micromanagement, and authoritarian tendencies, causing personal and interpersonal harm. Control in relationships. Balance of power. Healthy relationships require an equal balance of control between individuals. Manipulation and coercion. When one partner seeks to dominate, it can lead to toxic dynamics and emotional abuse. Control through communication. Open dialogue can prevent the urge to control from turning into conflict. Control in leadership and organizations. Authoritative leadership. Leaders may exhibit an urge to control through micromanagement or autocratic decision-making. Collaborative leadership encourages shared control, promoting innovation and team empowerment. Power dynamics in workplaces. Unequal distribution of control can lead to dissatisfaction, lower morale, and decreased productivity. Control in society, government and authority. Governments exert control through laws, regulations, and policies to maintain order. Social movements often arise as a reaction to excessive control by authorities, demanding greater freedom and autonomy. Technological control. With the rise of surveillance technologies, societal control is exerted through data collection and monitoring, the urge to control nature. Environmental management. Humans have long sought to control nature through agriculture, urbanization, and industrialization. Conservation versus exploitation. The desire to control natural resources can lead to either sustainable practices or environmental degradation. Climate change and control. Efforts to mitigate climate change reflect humanity's attempt to regain control over a destabilized environment. The role of technology in control. Digital control. Social media and algorithms influence behavior, creating echo chambers and reinforcing the desire for control over information. Artificial intelligence. AI presents opportunities and challenges in balancing human control with autonomous systems. Data privacy. Control over personal data is a growing concern in the digital age, as corporations and governments access unprecedented levels of information. Philosophical perspectives on control. Determinism versus free will. Philosophical debates explore whether humans have true control over their actions or if life is governed by external forces. Stoicism encourages focusing on controlling one's responses to external events rather than trying to control the events themselves. Buddhism teaches the importance of letting go of the need to control, emphasizing acceptance and mindfulness. Psychological disorders linked to control. Obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD, a condition where individuals feel the need to control their environment to reduce anxiety. Anxiety disorders often stem from a perceived lack of control over life circumstances. Personality disorders, narcissistic and borderline personalities, may exhibit extreme urges to control others as a defense mechanism. The paradox of control. Control versus freedom. The more one tries to control, the less freedom they and others experience. Illusion of control. People often believe they have more control over situations than they actually do, leading to frustration and disappointment. Acceptance of uncertainty. Letting go of control can lead to greater psychological well-being by accepting life's inherent unpredictability. Lesson number 5. The web of lies. The web of lies is a metaphorical concept representing the complex, interconnected network of falsehoods, deceit, and misinformation spread in society, often to manipulate people's beliefs actions, or decisions. This web can be spun by individuals, governments, corporations, or media, contributing to widespread confusion, mistrust, and division. The digital age has intensified this web through the rapid dissemination of information on the internet and social media platforms, making it difficult to discern truth from falsehood. Definition: a system of interconnected lies and deceit designed to manipulate or mislead. Digital age. Impact: the internet accelerates the spread of lies, with misinformation traveling faster than the truth. Source of lies. Lies can originate from individuals, institutions, or even entire industries, often for political, financial, or social gain. Media's role. Traditional and social media can both combat and propagate the web of lies, depending on their accountability and ethics. Confirmation. Bias. People are more likely to believe lies that align with their pre-existing beliefs, reinforcing misinformation. Echo chambers. Social media platforms often create echo chambers where users are exposed only to information that confirms their worldview. Conspiracy theories. These are prime examples of webs of lies where complex false narratives are constructed to explain events or phenomena. Fake news, a deliberate form of misinformation spread to mislead the public, often by exploiting sensationalism and fear. Psychological impact. Lies can cause confusion, anxiety, and distrust in individuals and communities. Public manipulation. Lies are often used to manipulate public opinion, affecting elections, consumer behavior, and social movements. Economic impact. False information in financial markets can lead to instability, fraud, and losses. Political corruption. Governments or political groups can use misinformation to consolidate power, suppress dissent, or manipulate the electorate. Corporate lies. Companies may spread lies about products, competitors, or market conditions for competitive advantage. Deception in advertising. False claims in advertisements contribute to the web of lies, misleading consumers about product quality or safety. Social media algorithms. These algorithms can prioritize sensational, often misleading content because it generates more engagement. Fact-checking. A growing movement aims to combat lies through fact-checking services, although their reach and effectiveness are limited. Education's role. Teaching critical thinking and media literacy can help individuals discern truth from lies. Legal ramifications. In some cases, spreading falsehoods can lead to legal consequences, such as defamation or fraud charges. Cognitive overload. The sheer volume of information online can overwhelm individuals, making it harder to distinguish truth from lies. Counteracting the web. Solutions include stronger regulations on misinformation, improved fact-checking mechanisms, and fostering a culture of transparency and accountability. In a world increasingly dominated by digital information, the web of lies has become a critical issue that affects democracy, society, and individual well-being. Recognizing and addressing this web is essential for a more informed, resilient, and just society.